Hey guys, welcome to a special edition of the Davin and Anna Show. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and all around the world. And today, it's about helping as many people as we possibly can. And I know I'm going to get choked up a time or two on this because we're going to be talking about a story that's we've lived this story, actually. And the show today is titled CBD Hemp Meds and How It Can Change Your Life. Hemp oil, how it can change your life. So here's the deal. A lot of us are familiar with medicinal marijuana and medical cannabis, or at least you're familiar with the terms, whether you've ever used it or tried it or anything. People have an idea of what that is. Most people have no clue what CBD hemp oil is whenever I bring it up to people. And we got involved with this not that long ago due to a whole array of things. And let me just start with this really quick. If you know anyone who's suffering from anxiety, PTSD, cancer, epilepsy, Alzheimer's. What else is on that list of things that CBD
What's on the list?
can help?
When you say CBD,
Yeah.
And I just want to say that it's such a large CBD because there's so many numbers to them. There's so many of them that they help so many different things. So you want to know? Well, it helps almost everything you can think of because there's dosages and there's different ones that attack different parts of your body.
And we're going to get into the science of that on this show. We've got a lot of testimonials, snippets from actual doctors. This isn't us just making wild claims or anything like that. This is also based upon our own experience. Now, Anna and I, we've been in radio for almost 20 years, and the last few years have been...
More than that, sweetie poo.
Well, whatever. I'm not trying to date us too much. But anyway, the last few years for us have been a real challenge because Anna was diagnosed a while back with rheumatoid arthritis. And for you, it was a real challenge because part of that disease, part of that problem is you need to get your rest. Yeah. And we hosted morning shows. So we'd be up at 4 a.m. to go do our show. And for the last year or so, at least.
How do you not stay up and watch Game of Thrones?
Right. I mean, we have that stuff, but tell them the story that you have, what you've been going through with your own journey through RA and what CBD hemp oil has helped you turn around. Because our goal for the show today.
The journey, there's so many people out there, Davin. Your sister, one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like, we have a group of people that we can call upon, right? Your sister suffers from lupus.
Yeah.
Right, at an early age. And so myself and autoimmune disease. So when you say autoimmune disease, Davin, it's today, it's sick. I know the word which I just used, but it is sick. How you meet somebody and what do they say to you? Oh my gosh, my wife is suffering from, what is it that your wife has? And he'd come home and he'd be like, gosh, Anna, tell me again, like what you said the doctor said to you. And I'd tell Davin and he'd be like, geez, it sounds just like this person.
Right.
Well, every time I go to the doctor, there was something new, right? I'd come home and there was some kind of medicine that they wanted to try on me. And okay, before long, I tried to get off of everything. And we had moved and we had taken a job and I wasn't feeling well on the way to the job. I just wasn't feeling
Well, prior to that, though, you were on all kinds of medications for rheumatoid arthritis, for your things. I mean, you'd been on, give them the laundry list of all the meds that you've been on trying to help you with your condition.
Okay,
with your first it was fibromyalgia, they said.
That's what they said, exactly. So they said it was fibromyalgia. So through the years, we tried every medication, okay? So the one thing that people kept putting, on my list was amitriptyline. So, and amitriptyline, right from the get-go, we got married, I got put on this stuff, and boom, 65 pounds. I'm like, oh my God. Like just from the get-go. Here I was like a size like 6, between 6 and 8. And all of a sudden I went to like 16 within just a couple of months. That's devastating on your body.
Right.
I would swell all the time. Okay. Now imagine being on that and then trying to get off of that and then getting on more like 5, 6 different things. They had me on antidepressants. They had me on Lexapro. They had me on Prozac. Prozac made my skin crawl. They put me on Paxil. That didn't work for me. And then they put me on these other things. Then came the big heavy drugs. Then it was, the painkillers, the opioids, because, well, the other stuff is not, you have to give
because you were in so much pain. They were giving you something for your pain, but it wasn't fixing your problem. And so the real, so now you had challenges twofold. You had physical pain. You had this addiction to the drugs that they had put you on, which altered your mood drastically.
So we had to get off the drugs.
So you're trying to get off the drugs. I'm going to show a little clip here really quick. This is back when we lived in Denver, and this is when you were trying to come off.
Gosh, this is the later part of the struggle now.
Now, I think this is when you were trying to come off of Cymbalta.
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. And I'm
believe so.
gonna do my best to try to make sure this plays where it's supposed to here really quick. So this is on I think like your second day trying to come off of these prescription drugs.
I don't remember.
You don't. And
I don't.
Anyway, here she is. Check it out.
Okay, I'm on day 2 of trying to self-detox from Cymbalta. Crying has been probably the worst. I can't stop or control myself. Also, I have really bad itchy, scratchy. My face is really swollen because, well, I can't stop crying and because everything is starting to swell really badly. Today, it's film strips in my mind of everybody I've lost. My dad, my cousin, my brother. I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be okay, and life is gonna be normal again. It's gonna be normal again.
So there you are, just battling with yourself, trying to just find a ray of hope somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought you tissues because I know it's hard for you to watch yourself back then. But look at how much you've changed. I mean, look into the camera. Just look at the difference.
Uh-huh.
I mean, aside from your hairstyle is much better now. I have to say. But,
that's what I'm crying about. Actually,
no, but the thing is, when
I'm
get
looking at, I'm like, why didn't anybody? Krusty the Clown's hair is like, no, not Krusty the Clown. What's the other guy? Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody tell that guy he needs a new haircut.
But that's the
Nobody
thing
can
when
tell
you
me.
get on these prescription drugs. Another side effect is you make bad fashion decisions. I mean, you just do. I can laugh about it now because you're off of all that stuff. Thank God. Yeah. And then there's another video. Well, I don't have to play the other one, but I mean, I can if you want.
I don't care.
You don't care? Okay.
It doesn't bother me. I think I'm over it.
But she was to the point where, like, the slightest little thing, I mean, the slightest little setback would just derail her for the whole day. And it's very hard to escape. That's the sort of thing that she was going through, because one of the things that has been her challenge for a long time, for the last at least year and a half or so, has been your feet and being able to walk.
That's and so when we went to Florida, no, this was Denver. My heart started to do weird things.
You started to murmur. And
yeah,
these
I
problems.
started to have a murmur. And so now when and this is really weird. It's an old wives' tale. They say when your nails start to cone, it's because you have cardiac problems.
Mm.
And so as a kid, I used to hear that from the old, the elders,
Right.
and that started to happen to my nails, and I started to freak out. And so she found a murmur, but they really wanted to go in and look and see what was going on with my heart, because I had rheumatoid fever years and years ago, which started this whole catastrophe. But see, here's the thing. They have to give you antibiotics to cure everything.
Yeah.
So you know how many antibiotics I've taken in my life for sinus infection, strep throat, Now, you know what rheumatoid fever is? Strep.
Right. So what you did lately in the last, and I'm kind of jumping ahead here because I want to make sure.
No, you go right ahead.
I want to make sure that we get to the point of what CBD hemp oil is. When it comes to medical cannabis.
What I'm getting for it, Davin, is what I'm getting at is all these things cause side effects.
I know. So let me get to what this is so we can help people along here a little bit.
Yeah,
okay, because we're going to show you more of your journey here in a second. So with medicinal marijuana, there's two sides to this plant. There's the THC side, which is responsible for the euphoria, the high, the psychosomatic side. And then the other side that has a lot of the medicinal properties is CBD, cannabidiol. Right. So I got it right. Did I say it right? No? She's smirking at me.
It's okay.
I'm new to this,
but looks at me. He's so funny.
Well, because here's the
can't say
thing.
formaldehyde either, so don't worry about it.
Here's the thing, guys. Honestly, I'm relatively new to this. Only in the last few months
I'm smirking.
have I discovered about what it is about this that really works for people.
I'm smirking because you're working so hard to learn everything. And you know what? That's what I'm smirking about, because that's exactly what I want to do. I want to teach people to be like
about
you're
this.
doing. So go ahead. Do your best.
So anyway, the cannabidiol is what goes into your body. You have an entire system with CBD1 and CBD2 receptors. This is hard science. This isn't stuff that somebody just made up. In fact, it's been in use for centuries. only until just recently.
What are you going to tell me that the icebergs are melting too?
Right. No, but that's another whole conversation. We'll get into that in a minute. So we started using, or Anna started using the CBD hemp oil from a company that we discovered, and she started using it and started having a notably better change in her condition with her rheumatoid arthritis. In fact, I've got photographs here, and I'm going to get into all the other things that this stuff can help and some of the science to back that up as well in a minute. This show is about advocacy, and it's about making you aware that this is even out there.
Well, that's just it, right?
Right.
I mean, okay, so, I tell Davin about all this stuff when I meet him, and he's looking at me like his eyebrow goes up, right? He's got this little thing that he does where his eyebrow goes up, and he's looking at me like, yeah, sure, it's medicinal, and he kind of giggles. And I'm like, no.
Everybody does. Everybody does until
like,
you know what
and
it does.
Because he loves reggae music, hello. And he's like, yeah, it's medicinal, makes you feel good. I'm like, no. Yes, all that is fantastic. But you don't understand. There's a whole other level to this, and it's not the same plant. He's like, what? I'm like, listen, there's two different plants.
Right. So the CBD that comes out of the hemp plant is a different plant than the cannabis plant. We're going to get into that in a minute as well. But here is Anna's feet. This is she chronicled, she documented what her feet look like.
Still doing it.
Just a little over a month ago. I'm going to show this slide right here. Have a look at this. You can see where she was at April 20th. Now, when did you start on this hemp oil, the CBD hemp oil for your rheumatoid arthritis?
At the end of April is when I went to Long Island, wherever I went to the red carpet, for the company that, of course, I'm part of now. But that is when I started, was a week after. So, well, I tried it, like a couple days later. But I can't honestly say I was taking it I really started 4 days later. So 4 days. So, okay, so it would have been April 20th. I went on the 27th, 28th, 20th. So, yeah, I started right there, right the first week of May.
Right.
Right. So it was the 27th of April when I started it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
And so now you describe walking how?
Well, when I get up in the morning, okay, so it got to the point where it wasn't just rheumatoid arthritis. I have lymphedema, okay? And I got that, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but let's just say it was from being on methotrexate a little too much with interactions for other drugs, okay? Interactions, other drugs, methotrexate caused my body to go in a toxic direction to where now I have this lymphedema, which I swell up. It's ridiculous. It's nuts. But besides the point, we're getting back to the CBD oil. I started on that, and when I was like, "Is this arthritis? Is this the lymphedema?" It felt like I had glass underneath my skin. Okay,
right. When she walked.
So when I get up in the morning, the first thing in the morning was the worst part of my day.
She would cry every morning.
Every morning.
Every morning.
Because you put your feet down and you think that, I'm not that old, but I know that I'm getting older. But the fact that this is so bad and you hurt so bad, you can only think of what you're going to be like if something happens, like if you get older.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, you immediately fast forward to, oh my God, I'm going to be decrepit in a wheelchair.
Which makes you so depressed.
And it messes with you.
And then it messes with your health, and then you get worse and worse. So my feet would get purple when I'd sit down on the toilet or on any kind of chair that was, that was a hard surface. So if I was sitting on a bleacher, if I was sitting on a bench, my feet would just turn black. Sometimes my second toe.
We went sailing one day, and it was just sitting on the seat of the sailboat, sent her into an entire RA flare because she was that bad.
On the
off.
way home, you pulled over, and
that was that was last summer.
Yeah,
it was that bad.
And I threw up so bad. I burst a vein in my eye.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really bad.
And it was all swollen, and this is a serious thing. People don't understand when you put on the makeup and you put on compression and you want to fight the disease. Yeah, anybody can look good. But when you are fighting that kind of stuff, like the photos that a lot of people are fighting the good fight. Diabetics.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And that's why we're doing the show today to sort of champion CBD hemp oil, because it doesn't get you high. It's something that will literally turn your life around if you suffer from a number of ailments that we have, on the title of this show. Which, by the way, if anyone has any problems out there, or if you have any stories to share, I've got this phone line down here. You're more than welcome to call in. But first, I'm going to play something from Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's
I love him.
chief physician. And he's going to talk a little bit in this segment that he does. He had a whole segment he did. Now, this was published back in, I think, 2015. So this is 2 years old or so already. But just for context, check this out, guys. Here we go.
I get asked a lot, is medical marijuana just a hoax? An excuse to smoke pot? Well, it's true. Some doctors are going to prescribe it for just about anything. But when I dug into this, I also found something else. serious physicians out there who think cannabis could become a real tool to fight all sorts of things, including cancer.
Good job.
Landon Riddle was a normal 2-year-old boy until he was diagnosed with leukemia.
They told us he doesn't look sick, very sick to y'all, but he's on the brink of death.
Doctors in Salt Lake City immediately started intense chemotherapy and radiation.
But told us that he probably wasn't going to make it, that he only had like an 8% chance to live 24 to 48 hours.
The chemo made him violently ill. He was in intense pain. He suffered nerve damage in his legs, and he went 25 days without eating.
Around the clock, he's usually on liquid morphine, Ativan, promethazine, and it just really didn't seem to be helping.
And then she heard about medical marijuana.
We didn't have anything else to lose.
One chemical in marijuana, THC, is responsible for the psychoactive effects, or the high. It also combats nausea and pain. But another chemical, called CBD, seems to have additional benefits.
Love you.
In January, Landon began taking both as an oil.
As soon as we started doing the oil, his platelets have been above normal for a cancer patient. They've been at a regular, healthy person's level, and they can't understand why.
And it's this effect that has intrigued researchers. In San Francisco, these researchers say that compound, CBD, can kill cancer cells and stop them from metastasizing in human cells and mice, at least in the lab.
This compound that appears to be quite effective at inhibiting cancer in the dish.
And they're ready now to take the next step, which is large-scale clinical trials. Of course.
Yeah. I get asked a lot, is medical...
So there we go, Dr. Sanjay Gupta and the amazing research that started a couple years ago, some of this stuff, and it's only going to move forward from here. Thank God we're finally on the precipice of this becoming more of a mainstream thing, and that's kind of the goal of what we're doing here tonight on the show, is making people aware of what's out there.
It's, the thing I always use when I teach people about, the differences with, hemp and cannabis. And when I tell them about both plants being so amazing, with my advocacy, I really, the CBD oil, wonderful, but I'm an advocate for everything. And I really need to put that out there because, with the government and where I stand as an advocate and also an activist, it's really important that we make our voices heard. And so in order for these things, and other medicines to also be approved that we also need desperately in this country, you must make your voice heard.
Now, here's the thing. There's a big difference between hemp and marijuana.
Exactly.
A lot of people, when you say hemp, people go, oh, it's but no, hemp is a totally different plant than marijuana.
It is. And you know what? We're restricted from even growing that. Did you know Thomas Jefferson grew it? He even said that, one of his statements, just like not quote, but one of his statements was he said that if one of the days that we end, the farming of hemp, we'll be really sorry about that. Our economy will start to fail because during the great wars and everything, we were it, man. Hemp rope and hemp clothing.
In fact, true story here. Check this out. In 1914, hemp was actually on the $10 bill. You can see them in the picture up here. You can see them actually farming and harvesting the hemp plants right there. In fact, if I zoom in a little bit more, you can see it really closely there. Have a look at this. See what they're harvesting? That is the hemp plants. The hemp plants are actually a very tall plant.
Oh, yeah. They'll grow in like 90 days. You can have like a great harvest. And then after that, all over the world, they're using it because it is so sustainable. Think about it. Hemp clothes. You have a shirt. I
do. It's still good to go. In fact, I have Dr. Stuart Titus here. I've got a little short thing. He's going to explain to you exactly the difference between hemp and marijuana.
He's amazing. He's the one who started Medical Marijuana Inc.
Yeah, check this out, guys. You're going to like this.
Not many people are aware that there is a difference between cannabis, marijuana, and hemp. Cannabis is the genus name used to identify a type of flowering plant that includes marijuana and hemp. Although they come from the same family of plants, hemp and marijuana are quite different. Similar to the way oranges and limes are both citrus fruits, they look and taste different from each other. Even though both hemp and marijuana are both part of the cannabis plant family, they have unique characteristics of their own. Marijuana plants are usually high in THC, the compound in cannabis that gets users high. Marijuana that is high in THC is primarily used for either medical or adult use recreational purposes. Hemp, on the other hand, is very low in THC by federal definition, under 0.3%, and instead has a high concentration of cannabidiol, or CBD, as well as other medically therapeutic compound in cannabis. CBD is non-psychoactive, making it safe for medical use by everyone. In addition to its therapeutic uses, hemp also has an incredible range of industrial uses, from animal feed to fiber to building material and even fuel. For more information about cannabis, hemp, and marijuana, visit our education page at www.medicalmarijuanainc.com.
So there you go. There's the there's a quickie there, if you will, about the difference between the hemp and actual marijuana plants. It's a miraculous thing. So like I say, people are just now tuning in. We got involved with CBD hemp oil a little while back. Anna has had debilitating rheumatoid arthritis, and it's really changed your life. I mean, you can walk now without the broken glass feeling in your feet.
Right. And, the lymphedema, it really helps to alleviate that quite a bit. But, one of the bigger things that comes from all the other stuff that a lot of people suffer from in this country right now, and a lot of them are suffering so greatly, Davin, that it's taking their lives, and that is depression.
Yeah.
And my family, it's mental illness is something that people just like to put away, man. They just like to put it in a closet, they lock it away, pretend it doesn't exist, put a little lipstick on it, and call it a day. That's it. Do not get into it. But you know what? Davin will tell you, because I suffer from depression and a lot of past abuse, a lot of things like that. But my husband is the one that can be he's the one who has to tell you how this stuff is working.
It's really changed her a lot. Her attitude, like it used to be that the littlest thing would set her into a tailspin. For the last, I'm sharing our true lives with you guys right now, because I think it's important that you can see this and know that you're not alone. Okay,
that's the important part.
What I would have, here's how my daily routine would be. I'd wake up next to her. She'd put her feet on the floor, and she'd cry and she'd sob. And this happened every single day for the last year or so. Every day. There wasn't a day without me having to talk her off the ledge because of depression and so forth. And we got people calling in, and I'm gonna take your calls here really quick also. So thank you for that. Call in all you want. Hello there. Welcome to the show. Who are we talking to?
This is Jeff.
Jeff. Hey, Jeff. How are you doing? This is Jeff in Phoenix, right?
Oh, great.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
So welcome.
I'm awesome, guys. Thank you.
You called right on time. Now I don't have to put the waterworks. My makeup is saved. My highlighter will remain. Oh, I'm so happy.
Now I invited Jeff to call in because he is an expert with the CBD hemp oil movement, and you're in Phoenix, and there's a video you put up of you giving this stuff to your dog on your Facebook page. And your dog is an older Labrador, and I haven't played that clip yet for people. And I
haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's awesome. It's really cool. So I'm going to play that in a second. But Jeff, first, have you been watching since we started, or just now kind of tuning in because the show just goes?
I just literally just called in.
Okay. So as far as the CBD hemp oil, we covered how it's helped Anna tremendously with her rheumatoid arthritis and her depression, and it's done a lot for people. What are some other things? Because you've been involved with this a lot longer than I have, and that's why I wanted to have you call in. Because I'm such a noob to this, but I'm already blown away by seeing how much it really does help people. Mm-hmm. And so, if you wouldn't mind, kind of expanding on some of the things that you've seen it do for people out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. And if I start to run a little long, just let me know. But
please.
Here's what I can share with you.
I'm Portuguese. It's like.
Go ahead.
About. Actually, 16, 17 months ago, I was introduced to these products. Now, I come from a background where my dad was a police officer, and I actually, you do what your parents do. I went to school to be a police officer and moved to Phoenix to become one, and, I didn't end up becoming one, long story short.
Which, by the way, we've lived in Phoenix. That's a tough town to be a cop in.
And you probably met Davin and told him to get a gun, but that's another story. That's for another time.
Go ahead, man.
So the foundation for my mindset was laid throughout my upbringing. And when I was approached about this, was because I had success in the network marketing arena. Here's where this became really dynamic. The guy that's the president of the company, I've known, I have the utmost respect for him as a person, what he's done within the industry of network marketing, but I was not interested in the network marketing space any longer. And then when I saw the product, when it showed up at my doorstep and it had the universal symbol, the leaf,
yeah.
I was even more not interested.
Which, by the way, we haven't even talked about the company or anything that we have found to help us through any of the stuff. We were really focusing a lot on everything that it has done for us personally and what it can do for people. But I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm just saying you might not realize we haven't covered any of that ground yet.
Let me share with you why this is dynamic and why this is the perfect space for this. And I think if it's okay with you guys, I'll share that.
Go ahead, sure. No, I just wanted to bring you up to speed, so go ahead.
So here's where this got really interesting. So it shows up, my wife says, man, I really like the skincare. And I said, well, that's really cool because I'm not going to be the marijuana Mary Kay guy. I'm not interested.
My dude.
Yep. Yep. So that really, like, guys, I literally, for the first time in 15 years, I went and got a job because I had to have a job. I've been self-employed. And so I went and got a job, was not interested, but I did want to see my buddy Brad. And so I go up there, and when I showed up, I think Brad saw a different version of Jeff than he'd seen, before, where, I'm only 5'8", and I was weighing about 270 pounds.
Wow.
And what they said to me was this, because, I have trust in my friend Brad, but, I was very resistant to this. But here's where he got me. He said, Jeff, he goes, answer me this. He said, when people get high, do they get the munchies? And I said, well, yeah. I said, why would you ask me that? Because I don't do that. And he said, do you understand why that happens? And I said, no. And he said, you have something in your brain called the CB1 receptors. You have CB2 in your gut. He said, this is what's known as the endocannabinoid system. Now, at this point, he's talking like an alien to me because I've never heard any of these things.
Right.
And so I'm literally going, okay, so what's your point? And he said, what's happened is this. He said, you have so many toxins in you from the food you're consuming, the air you're breathing, that it's creating hyperactivity as if you're high and causing the receptors to go crazy to crave sugar and carbs. And he said, this is an antagonist to hyperactive receptors. And I said, come on. I said, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. And he said,
right.
That's the problem. Hemp was banned, along with, cannabis. And so, long story short, I come back, I don't do anything, I get really sick, and my wife convinces me to try the detox bath soak, and I did. And then, guys, this is where the magic happened. On January 25th of 2016, I tried the CBD oil for the first time, and I felt something, not a high. I felt a calmness, but I felt a euphoria. And I felt really good. And I said to her, I'm going to be able to beat this. And she said, now, if you know my story, you know that for 20 years I've been doing everything from the HCG diet to the Body for Life to other, network marketing companies. And what happened was I'd lose weight and gain it all back and then some.
You know what's funny? I'm gonna interject. We as we worked at radio stations, we were approached a million times to pitch and what's the word? Be a spokesperson for like Metabolife and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I took it one time and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, so
I literally thought I was going to die.
So I know where you're at as far as talking about all those those plans that they want you to sell. So sorry.
Yeah, so I literally, it's something I struggled with, because alcohol never got me, drugs never got me, gambling never got me. So, addiction's in the brain, but sugar got me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm the same way, actually.
So here's what happened. So I went to my wife and said, you're not going to believe this. I said, I'm going to be able to beat this. And she looked at me and laughed and goes, I've heard this before like 20 times. And I said, no, I'm not kidding, support from the spouse. But here's what happened. February, March, and April, I endeavored into this thing called the CBD Lifestyle Challenge. I lost 50 pounds, and I've gone on to lose a total of 70. But here's the best part. I mean, that's just part of my story, but it's how amazing I feel on a daily basis because I consume these CBD. And as you begin to look into this, and this is where I'll get to the dog part, you begin to understand that all mammalian species have this thing called the endocannabinoid system. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll just, I'll start giving my dog CBD because she's got all these lumps on her. She's old. She's having trouble getting up.
Right.
So we start giving, Buddy the CBD, and I mean, she acts like a puppy. She runs around, and I'm like, this stuff's truly amazing. So I don't know if you guys want to, show the video, take a break, whatever. But I will share with you
This
why.
is awesome. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
You're quite welcome. And I'll share with you guys why this is so powerful from that distribution model, and literally why we're having the amazing experience that we all are. So.
All right, let's play the video of you giving the CBD hemp oil to your dog, because one of the things we were talking about is it doesn't have any high concentration of THC. So we didn't mention this earlier, but the good thing about CBD hemp oil is you can give it to children, you can give it to your animals for hip dysplasia, anxiety, a number of things.
Oh, and especially the pups who like to rip open the doors when you leave them in the bathroom, or
the anxiety.
Sometimes you're just like, just stay there for a minute, and they flip out. Yeah.
So this is Jeff from his Facebook page feeding his dog the CBD hemp oil. Check this out.
Okay, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to pop in, say hi. As you guys know, we are very much involved and immersed ourselves tremendously in the CBD hemp and cannabis space. So some of you guys might know what this is. It's called Canaway Gold, and this right here, it's our old timer buddy. Hi buddy. Hey, you want some hemp oil? Want some hemp oil? Oh, you like that hemp oil, huh? So I'm about to give her daily dose of the gold, and we know it makes a difference because she's old. She's got lumps all over. She's got some lumps back here, as you can see. Those aren't, lady lumps. They're just lumps. But love her dearly. We love our puppies, huh? Oh, look at this. She wants this stuff. You want your hemp oil? Oh. So anyways, I'm going to share with you guys what we do. Come here, buddy. I'm going to actually go ahead, and I'm going to put this on her. And then I'm going to go ahead and hold on a second. I know you're getting excited. I know. Hold on. Multitasking is not one of my fortes here. Oops. I might have got some on there. Oh, there we go. So anyways, here is the oil on my finger. You ready, buddy? You like that oil, don't you, huh? Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Huh. Oh, that's such good stuff. We take care of our puppies. So, anyways, guys, that is Buddy taking her daily consumption of the gold. And it's made a huge difference in her life. 13 years old, she just used to, sit there and, just lay down and, would have trouble getting up. She's got, some pain in the back of her legs. But now she's like, come here, buddy. Hey, want your bone? Come here. Hi, girly. Oh. So anyway, she now gets up, moves around, walks, plays. She'll grab her rope, her little baby right there, and run around the backyard. And, I just gave it to her, so I'm not sure she's going to, go crazy for us. But you want your baby? Huh? You want your baby? Buddy. Ready?
That's a happy dog right there, man. That dog's in such a good way, man. That's awesome.
I like her.
We're such animal lovers, I love.
So I'm telling my mom about that because like her little, she's got a what is that? A Karen Terrier.
Yeah.
And her little hip she's got arthritis in her hip, and I was thinking maybe the hemp oil would help her.
But
put her in her diet.
So are you there still, Jeff? By the way.
I am here.
Okay, cool.
She eats carrots, so she eats just about anything my mom will give her. So I'm sure that if she puts it in a little hemp oil in her food, she'll probably devour that.
Right. So you've noticed a big change in your dog with the stuff.
I've noticed a massive change.
Yeah.
How old is Buddy? How old is she?
13.
13?
Buddy's 13.
I wasn't paying attention.
And we had a bunch of things going. We were answering people on our wall and everything. So.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So we got people on our wall talking about how they battled depression and it sucks, and people just kind of relating to some of the stories that we've been through, as a family, and how much the CBD hemp oil products has helped Anna, get through this stuff.
Okay, so I get this question all the time, right? Because recently everyone's like, okay, so the first question that everyone has, and for me, is how did you get Davin on board?
I'm like you, Jeff. I was a very big skeptic of a lot of things just in general.
When I can answer that, for the people that know me, I'm sorry, not people outside, of course. Obviously, they don't know Davin, but the people who know Davin, the people who've known us forever and all the states we've lived in, they will say, how did, what is his, because he's really behind it. Well, it's because everywhere we've lived, he has gone with me and has heard me cry and has heard me, lament about the drugs I was on. And then he would go with me to the doctor because he was like skeptical. You know what I'm saying? And then he would hear the doctors tell me stuff. And then he was like, what is going on? Like, okay, I went to this one doctor and I was falling apart. My mother has Alzheimer's, and I'm losing it, right? So depressed. He goes to the doctor with me and he sees, because I told him these meds are not working for me. They had put me on Wellbutrin and some other stuff, and I felt like I wanted to die. I mean, I just wanted to die. I did not want to exist. And so he was so angry, and he takes me to the doctor, and he says, this is not working for my wife, and I don't understand. She told you she had been on this in the past, blah, 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 blah. We're trying to fight this. And the woman never looked at him. She kept typing into the computer and said, but she was really sad before she came in.
She was just like taking a bunch of notes like a lawyer, as if she was just trying to keep herself out of trouble.
And I knew I didn't want to go this route anymore, Jeff. I wanted to try something else, and I wanted to learn and I wanted to just try something else. And so when, just upon getting, the small package of the products and, the AM and the PM and trying this stuff out and then it actually working, Davin just was like, okay, that's it. Okay, I believe it. I believe all of it. It's all good.
So, Jeff, let me ask you a question. If anybody Googles like CBD hemp oil online, like there's loads and loads of information out there online, all over YouTube, doctors, a lot of, documentation and so forth. What do you have to say about the stuff that's out there, even though none of this has been FDA approved yet, but there's all this, what I'll call evidence that points to how many things it helps with?
Well, there's plenty of documentation through PubMed.gov. There's actually, I believe it's 22,000 white papers, is what I've heard. There's also a what's known as the 507 patent, which is the National Institute of Health issued for the neuroprotectant and antioxidant. You can look it up. It's called the 507 patent, and that's the last three digits in the patent. What's ironic is our family, our parent company, actually, through one of our sister companies, actually holds the licensing agreement for that patent. So there's stuff out there that exists. I simply did this. I wasn't a great student in school. Nothing interested me. This has got my attention. Has got my attention to the point everybody wants to feel better. Now, I had a personal experience with these products. And what I can tell you is that as I went through this journey, I documented it on social media. And the other thing was this. I began to see these things, even like the weed documentary by Sanjay Gupta from CNN, talking about this. And you see kids go from, all these seizures to none. You see the kid Travis on there, he's got the speech issue because of some stomach issue going on, takes the oil. You can only deny this stuff for so long, but there's where I really began to dig in. I'm like, okay, I know why it was demonized, because of greed, because, it could outproduce the amount of paper, plastic. Henry Ford made a car to this. And then I began to dig in that hemp can actually do 50,000 different things. I'm like, okay, one thing that pointed to me, and I'm not an overly religious person, was that God definitely put this plant here for us to use and consume as human beings. There's nothing else on planet Earth that can do 50,000 things. And so
women.
You've never met me.
I was going to say women can do
49 point,
Yeah.
So I came to this conclusion basically through, this math equation, that I put together, based on things that you see. How do you deny all these things? And so I'm like, okay, yeah, my weight loss, it was kind of it was a big deal for me, but it opened my eyes to this.
Right.
Here's, getting back to what I talked about. This plant, unfortunately, guys, has been demonized to the point of ridiculousness. Like, if it sits on a store shelf, it cannot tell its story. That's why the business model known as network marketing is the most powerful model that this could ever be associated with, because it can't tell its story. It needs us to tell its story. You guys don't understand how important you are in the scope of this whole thing.
Oh, I think I'm beginning to see it.
Well, here's the thing: is you have a story now to tell, and obviously the FDA says it's a supplement, so whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, but if it works, it works.
This plant existed.
Yeah.
Well, this plant was here before us.
Right.
And in 1937, when the Marijuana Tax Act came in, so here's the last thing that I came with this conclusion. Now, I'm not a doctor; I don't claim any of this, but it was very simple. When I grew up, I don't ever remember this many kids having, these focusing issues.
Amen. Before you even said it. Amen.
I don't remember this many kids
not being able to eat peanut butter.
Not being able to talk.
Right.
And communicate with their parents. But what I do know is this, is that we were disconnected. Our bodies produce cannabis. The endocannabinoid system exists. And so, this plant disappears, and all of a sudden there's a huge disconnect. But here's the other thing. What did they plant in place of hemp? Corn.
Yeah. I was
corn,
say
which
corn.
makes us
And so
absolutely
guess what?
sick and
Which makes
disgusting.
us huge and fat. Yeah, absolutely.
Fructose, corn syrup, and sugars and everything, and it's addictive. And
Yes, sir.
I said, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to tell a story of how amazing I feel. I'm going to make any type of claims of any sort, but I feel amazing ever since I've been taking these. And by the way, the company that we're involved with actually started the space and was the first publicly traded cannabis company, even though we're on the healthy side, not the high side. So that's why I'm very much a believer if we do it right. And here's what I mean by doing it right. I want you to try our products because I know you're going to feel better. What I don't care about is if you join the movement that we're doing.
Yes.
Because if the product is as good as, and you feel as good as you possibly can, you're going to tell people naturally, and that's really that's where network marketing broke down. Network marketing became transacting your friends, all about the opportunity, and I got sick and tired of that, and I wouldn't do it anymore.
Right.
And that's
this is like nothing
Jeff.
I've ever seen.
Jeff, I told somebody on the phone today, okay, it was someone in my family, okay, and they were saying to me, well, the thing is, and they gave me every, the but speech, you know,
Yeah.
and I said to them, you know what, and of course there's a little bit of disconnect, Jeff, because it's a foreign language, so you got to go around the, there's just so much complication there.
Yeah.
Spider web. Okay.
Right.
So, but what I said, that person said to me, I'm going to keep praying for you, and I'm going to keep praying that what's happening to you, to your transformation, is going to keep happening, because when I fully see it, I don't know. I'm just the kind of person that I need to have it. When I looked at the person, I looked at her and looked at her. I said to her on the phone, I said, you know what? I'm going to look you in the eye one of these days, and I'm going to say, all right, here's your proof. And you're going to be like, oh, my God. Because guess what? I am down 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay? My blood
That's
pressure
awesome.
was flippity flip. And it is like I'm sort of normal now. I don't even know what that feels. I mean, I don't even know what that is.
Right.
And my depression, come on. Davin, I'm crying right now, but this is tears of joy and happiness.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I mean, since she has started with CBD oil, it has definitely been a
I
breakthrough.
went on a field trip today with my son.
She hiked today. She hasn't hiked in like forever. I mean, that's a real thing. And it's like,
Well,
so.
welcome back to life.
Thank
this
you.
is what your God-given right was.
Thank you.
And this is the story that we get to tell. And, too much is given, much is expected. I can tell you guys two stories that happened to me within the past few days. My mother-in-law, who is not the most positive person,
I get you.
she just everything is skeptical. Well, my wife gave her the product, and let's see, I can term it discomfort. She no longer has any of that,
Right.
and a couple other things. She literally is now handing out samples, and she's like, she told my wife, we haven't always seen eye to eye, but she told my wife today, she's like, thank Jeff, like numerous times, like over and over and over. And her neighbor, she actually gave our salve to, and now they live up the Northeast like you guys do. And,
Yeah.
As we know, the Northeast.
They have
love
ridiculous,
it.
they have ridiculous accents as well.
Wicked pissa. Wicked pissa.
Oh, I'm sorry that I'm not speaking like I'm from Phoenix and I'm so beautiful. Everyone's beautiful in
it's not-
Phoenix.
Well, the people in Phoenix are just beautiful because they migrated from Minnesota.
Oh, they're so beautiful. Every one of them. Oh.
Yeah.
So go ahead, mother-in-law.
Guys, here's the thing: is we want to feel great as human beings, and so guess what? I get to go around, and you guys obviously see a lot of stuff that I do because of Facebook, and
Right.
I get to go around the country sharing this amazing message, and I couldn't be prouder.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more excited because if you take care of the right thing, and the right thing is doing right by people, the money bucket fills up naturally. And so I couldn't be prouder that this actually is in the greatest distribution model ever created.
Mm-hmm.
But we as human beings found a way to mess it up. Well, we get to bring it back the right way this way. And I'm excited to be on the phone with you guys.
That's
and to be
awesome.
on this journey with you guys.
I love it.
Thank you so much,
You bring
Jeff.
me such, that's what we need to do. And that's the empowerment to empower others and to give them, to give them hope. You know, that's all anybody wants is a little bit of hope. And if it actually transforms their life, oh my goodness. It's one person at a time. You don't even have to go two people at a time. One person can make such a difference.
We have somebody commenting on our wall. And by the way, if you guys want to call in with questions, you're welcome to call in. We have multiple phone lines here for the studios. But Jeremy Blake was just commenting on our wall, and maybe this is a good question for you, Jeff. He says, can you recommend any resources or advice around traveling internationally with prescription oil? Someone who already takes, a prescribed CBD oil, apparently. Because, that might be a real stopping point for some people.
So I'm not sure as far as the laws in other countries. I know that we're expanding into Europe, parts of it.
Yay!
And by the way, he represents a company called Canaway, which offers a multitude of various products, and which we just got involved with. For all sorts of ways to apply CBD hemp oil.
I wanted it for my
so.
show, and I wanted it for my new podcast, and I wanted products that I wanted to be the Marijuana Mary Kay. Sorry, Jeff, that was already filled. So back up, buddy.
But the focus of this show is to let everybody know how many different things this helps with.
But
I can say helps with,
but I
because
went
it
with
does
that,
help.
and I said I want the skin products. I want all that, and I went in determined. I walked into that red carpet with my big old bag, my knockoff bag. I was like, all right, we're gonna, I'm coming in here and I'm gonna check the place out, and I did, and then I fell in love, and that was it, man. It was like it was on.
But you were saying, as far as traveling with prescription oils, any advice for people out there?
Well, they got to know the country they're going to, what the laws are in those countries. I mean, because some of them, it's still a Schedule I drug.
Right.
As crazy as that sounds.
Right.
So you got to know the country that you're going to, and we have no problem within this country, like, people just taking them, even in carry-ons, they can take, our product because it falls below the 4 ounces or whatever it is.
Right.
But just know the country that you're going to.
Okay. That's
there
good.
you go. I guess that's good advice. Yeah,
Okay.
for anything really these days, I would think.
So, Jeremy, I hope that helped you some.
I got a little bit of trouble one time with oils and things, and because it was the size.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't even like
the
what
size
I
of any
had.
liquid. You could bring a size of hand lotion.
Yeah,
and they'll
it's
take
the
it from
same
you.
old, same old. It was like the 3 ounce thingy majigger.
Yeah, which is so annoying because then they sell it in the store right past the gate of the larger sizes. Like if you go to the airport or whatever.
Maybe my new job, just keep stuff in my jacket.
Yeah,
when people
yeah.
come out of the
Right.
inspection, I'll just
So, Jeff, I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, if you want to hang out, you can, or if you got to go, that's cool. I've got some other stories I'm going to share, just some stuff that I found online that I think's really intriguing about CBD hemp oil in general.
You can go hang out at the Cajun House for me.
Is that still going in Scottsdale? Is Cajun House? Is that a big spot still?
I don't know.
Okay.
Not the.
I'm not
not the club type.
Old Town Scottsdale.
Yeah, Old Town.
Yep.
You're more likely to find me at the casino playing No Limit Hold'em.
Oh, down there in Ahwatukee,
That's
down
That's
there.
for you and Dave, and I don't go and mess with the.
Or is that
cats.
south of there? And there's a place south that they used to have a like one of those dome casinos in there. Down there in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In the middle of Mars, that
Or
I
did-
called
Well,
it.
actually, that's in Scottsdale, and it's actually a full scale.
Oh, they stepped it up. Okay. Cool.
It's time for us to visit Arizona, there, Davin.
Well, I tell you what, there you come up here, we'll take you to Foxwoods.
We
It'll
got to
be
go to
great.
La Paloma again in Tucson.
Yes, La Paloma and the Phoenician as
Been
well.
there. Yep.
Yeah, so
Good place.
Been there. So, well,
All
listen,
right.
guys, I
Okay.
am going to jump. I've got a call
Yep,
here in
have
about 10 minutes. But listen, thank you very much
No.
for having me.
Thank you.
you're more than
I'm
welcome.
excited
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys.
All right. Thank you so much,
Yay!
Jeff. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Jeff. Bye.
All right, guys, take care.
Okay, that's Jeff Lessard from Phoenix, Arizona. He's one of the higher ups there with the company Canaway that offers the CBD hemp oils to people. But again, the focus on this show is making people aware of the things it can do for you. I recently lost a family member a while back to Parkinson's, and it was really tragic. Actually, my stepfather and my stepsister, her dad, of course. And if this were within their knowledge of something they could have, he probably would not have had the surgery that would have ultimately caused a huge decline in his health and his well-being.
Which is one that is very highly recommended.
And it is highly recommended, but I want to play this for you. This is a guy who has Parkinson's, and he takes CBD oils in order to combat the Parkinson's. This is an incredible clip. Check this out, guys. Here we go.
Hi, Larry. How are you? Come in. Come in. Let's see. How you feeling? It's been a bit of a rough week, really. And the best way to take it is put it under your tongue and rub it in your cheek. Don't do too much. You're going to be asleep all afternoon. You know what you should do? No. Don't try to communicate. Just relax. See what happens.
We know from animal experiments that the endogenous cannabinoid system is very important in regulating motor activity, that very type of activity that is impaired in Parkinson's disease. From animal experiments, we also know that boosting certain branches of the endocannabinoid system is helpful in relieving symptoms of Parkinson's. Finally, from anecdotal information, we know that certain patients who smoke marijuana experience relief of their symptoms.
I think you're calmed down. So quickly. Isn't that amazing?
He used just a single drop, and his hands afterwards were rock steady, and the dyskinesia left.
The voice is coming back. It works most of the time. In fact, it's... Did you guys eat lunch?
Are you hungry now?
Funny.
I think that's an incredible story right there. I mean, what an amazing recovery for someone like that. And there's kids who have seizures with epilepsy. There's so many things out there that CBD hemp oil has really helped people turn some lives around.
I wanted to talk about what happened to my hand really quick.
Okay, go ahead. Tell them.
Okay,
You're looking
so
at me.
I went to one of the.
Yeah.
I went to a convention and I got this wonderful lighter because I get a lot of things here, my podcast that I do as well, and for advocacy. And so this guy was telling me about this lighter, and it's a hemp oil, infused string, and it goes around the lighter, and it's really ingenious, and it's on my Instagram if you want to take a look at it for further use. And so anyway, you light it, lights the hemp. That way there's no butane. And then you just light everything, and it's wonderful. It keeps
Candles,
lighting.
whatever you want to light.
He's talking to me. I'm in the kitchen. This happens 4 weeks later. He's talking to me about show stuff, and I'm lighting a candle. Well, the darn thing, I'm not thinking about it because my mind wasn't, believe me, it wasn't where it needed to be. And the plastic part of the lighter, starts to melt. Because it's still lit. I'm not thinking about it. And it burns my hand. I get a burn on my hand. I put the CBD lotion. I kid you not. I had friends feel this the other day. What it did was it regenerated the skin over it so that there's no blister. It's the weirdest thing. It's I have, what would you call it? Scar tissue.
Yeah,
right?
kind of like that. Yeah.
Right. But there is a little fluid underneath, but it's almost like it made its own
it was really
Band-Aid.
cool. Right.
And it was this is what it does inside of you as well. It regenerates your cells.
You know what drives me nuts?
What?
Is whenever, because since you started using this stuff.
Yeah.
And I became more aware of it. And I feel like a crackpot on my Facebook page because it's been so much hemp oil.
Because you're researching, aren't you?
Because I'm researching. I'm like, oh my God, I have to share this with somebody. Oh, I've got to share this.
Now you know how I feel.
And I'll be telling people about stuff. I'm like, oh, I know I'm bugging the crap out of people, but geez, this is so intense.
Okay, so now you know how I feel. You have years and years and years of telling people you don't have to take that crap.
Yeah.
You don't have to take those diet pills. Okay. What are you doing to your liver, your kidneys? What are you doing to your liver? Do you have I just want to be skinny. Well, you can be thinner if you just would You don't understand that the foods we're taking in, that the industry that is, that we have right now, food-wise, our food is, there's a lot of stuff that's tainted. When you give your kids candy that's purple and green, and those are not natural, those colors, magenta.
Well, the biggest thing that I've seen,
not natural.
well, the biggest thing I've seen is your decline in overall, I'm going to say, quality of life because of side effects of so many prescription drugs that you've been on in your lifetime.
Okay, now throw bad food in there.
And bad food and all that. So
those things, those side effects can
Right.
just stay in your body and makes you toxic, honey.
So I've got another incredible story I'm going to share.
Do it.
This is a guy who his son was born with epileptic seizures and so forth. And it's a pretty powerful one, and you're probably going to need your tissues after this. But, I see story after story about this when it comes to CBDs. And what these are people's
the best,
these are people's personal testimonies to CBDs and what CBDs can do for people out there. And that's what I wanted today's show to be about, is to let people know what this stuff does, that it is an absolute good, and no one should ever be ashamed to advocate for it or ask for it or make it be your go-to solution for things when
What do
other
we
things are
say?
failing you, when you've crossed those lines.
What do we say when people give you grief or something? We go, what?
Next. Moving on. Next. Okay, so check this out. This is really incredible, guys.
Jaden's 7 years old now. Jaden was born perfectly healthy. At 4 months old, Jaden had his first seizure. It was just a downhill road for the next few years. She's having 500 twitching myoclonic seizures a day. He'd have grand mal for hour and a half. I remember he was crying from 1 o'clock at night to 9 in the morning, screaming, crying in pain. He was seeing things. He was hallucinating from the medications. At 4.5, Jaden was taking 22 pills a day. He was at 25,000 pills he had taken by the time he was 5 years old. Jaden had tried 12 different medications. We had 40 ambulances because we were fighting with the insurance companies all the time. We lost our house, we lost our cars, we lost our business, we lost our family. I went to UCSF. I said, look, I don't think Jaden's going to make it another week. What do you suggest? They're all, I don't know. I would try anything. I go, what do you think about medical marijuana? They're all, well, like we said, you think we're a life and death situation, you should try anything. So I said, all right. I went and picked up something I saw in a dispensary. Came home, I gave it to Jaden. After 4.5 years of having myoclonic seizures, 500 a day, and twitching and head drops and seizing, the first day I gave it to him was, thank God, 1 million times. It was the first day he's ever went seizure-free in his life. Then after that, second day, third day, fourth day, the seizures were down dramatically. I could see his eyes lighting up. It was summertime. It was June 1st, the first day I gave it to him, 2011. He started swimming. Jaden's never been able to swim before. The sudden temperature change of water would give him a seizure. When I put him in the front yard, and my neighbor's like, oh my gosh, we've never seen him in the front yard. They're so excited, they were cheering him on. I started weaning him off the medications after 1 month I was on the CBD. Every time I took him off, he would suffer for 2 weeks, and boom, he'd become more human. Then take off another pill, suffer for 2 weeks, boom, become more human. Jaden started chewing. Jaden was only eating Gerber food all the way till he was 5 years old. He started chewing. With taking 25,000 pills, it really wears on your body and brain, so it was kind of recovering more from the medications and from the epilepsy. And we decided to wean off the hardest one, benzodiazepines. He was having tremors, nightmares, brain zaps. I've contacted 30 different benzo withdrawal clinics. They go, how old is the person that's coming on that you want to bring into our clinic? I tell them 7 years old. And they scream at the top of their lungs. Every single one vividly say the same exact thing. You have a 7-year-old on benzos? Because we have people here that are football players. We have people here that are big, tough guys that are dying, literally dying from benzos, and you have a 7-year-old on it? I said, 7-year-old? My son's been addicted to it since he's 16 months old. So now we have to figure out a way to wean him off by ourselves because the benzo detox clinics are not willing to take in a 7-year-old. Since we've been using the CBD, he's been doing amazing. It has under 1% THC, so it doesn't give you that euphoria. Second thing is it's abstracted, it's organic, we know the dosaging, the milligrams. We're in the forefronts of something huge. It's either you're gonna give up and just let your child be a vegetable and die, or you're gonna sit there and fight. I still haven't met Jaden yet. I know Jaden in 22 pills, but I'm down to Jaden in 2 pills. That's who I know right now. I don't know Jaden, but on medication. Christmas before Jaden was born, that was my Christmas gift, was that Jaden was going to be born. My ex-wife had to give me a box, and I opened it, and I remember, it's a hard one. I remember opening the box and seeing a pregnancy test and saying positive with 2 baby shoes, and then having so much expectation, you know? Having so much expectation that, you're going to have your son. As a parent, you're expecting, your child to play football. You're expecting your child to talk. I mean, right now, my number one goal right now is to have my son say, "I love you." I mean, people take that for granted. People take that for granted. Their kids could talk and say, "I love you." That's all I want to hear my son say. But I mean, if I could hear him say that, I'll be more than happy. He said it one time on CNN, "I la Lou." He was really close, but I gotta hear it. I mean, if he says that, I've already conquered the world. Seeing your child suffer, there's nothing worse than that. There's no torture worse than that, especially every day.
So thankfully, that's a hard one to talk after. Actually, that one, I watched that one twice earlier today, and I could not cry every time, and that's why I brought you the tissues, because I knew it'd be an emotional show today for you.
And I've seen it. I've seen that video.
Oh, it's out there. I mean, this is stuff that, again, I'm talking about CBDs in general and how much it helps people, and it's a real thing. I am blessed. Okay, guys, I got to reset this camera here really quick. Keep talking up there.
Oh, that's good. I have time to clean the makeup. No, I don't have that much time. But yes, you are blessed. You're a healthy as a horse, which of course leads you to being the target for a lot of abuse from me, because
she resents me sometimes because I don't have the physical issues and I don't relate to, like, we'll be walking along and she would be like, "Hold on, Davin, you gotta chill. I can't do this." I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry." See, now me as a regular person, and this is where also it kind of touched me, this whole CBD movement, is that, I played football. I was in good shape. I'm put on some pounds since then, but I'm generally a very healthy person. And when I started taking the CBD oils, I found myself finding a better calm, a homeostasis, which is making your body just level and good. And I didn't even know how much it helps people like pro athletes.
Wait till I teach you about essential oils. Then you're going to be like, oh, yeah. Ding, 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 ding. Wait for David's transformation.
So for the sake of continuing awareness, for people who are athletically inclined like myself, you're going to come across injury at some point or another. And I can't tell you how many guys I played football with who had concussions. They had all sorts of nerve damage. What, Anna?
Look at you.
What?
You're already going for the guys.
Well,
What
that's what
about
I know.
Your kid? Your kid hits his head.
My kid nails his head
every other flipping day. Enough with your guys. You know how many children need a helmet? My child, I don't know what it is, but somehow if there's something that's going to be hit, his head is going to hit it.
Anyway, if you know anybody who's come back from the military, someone who has been in athletics and has injured parts of their bodies, nervous systems.
If your child plays football or is going to play football, you should probably start the regeneration system now. Like, get it regenerating now.
Here's why. Check out this little story really quick. This is much more of a pick-me-up, but watch. Hold on.
Former San Diego State offensive lineman Kyle Turley played 8 seasons in the NFL, and as it did with many players, the savage nature of the game at the point of attack took a toll on his body and eventually his mind.
I got to a point of hopelessness where I was consistently taking pills every day to deal with ailments that I received playing football. I started here in San Diego State, not too far from where we're standing right now, and blew my knee out in 1996. And that started me on an opiate addiction.
Some NFL players have said they take up to 30 painkillers a day to combat the agony of injuries they suffered playing the game they loved. Turley says he was not at that level, but still, the addiction to opiates was taking him down a dark, dark path.
As I sat on my couch, hopeless with life, when I've got a beautiful wife and kids sitting at home and a lot of money and all these great things that I've accomplished that I should be pretty proud and happy about, and I found myself depressed and in an unbelievable hole.
Turley was introduced to cannabis, and all of a sudden his quality of life improved. No more painkillers. He believes so much in the restorative properties of cannabis that he founded NeuroArmor, a company that develops cannabis products.
I had a personal experience with cannabis that changed my life. It saved it. It is highly important that people understand what this plant can do to its full extent. Because we are seeing unbelievable things in our communities, and that's what happened to me, and it almost took my life.
The NFL has long been firmly against marijuana use, even the kinds that eliminate THC, the substance that makes a user feel high. Turley is hoping a spike in scientific research will help pro football reconsider their stance.
You know, you hope that the NFL, being the organization that they are with as much power as that they have, that they would advance things, that they wouldn't follow. And so I like some of the things I'm hearing, and that there is a shift happening right now with the National Football League, where they are opening their ears finally to what cannabis can do for their community.
The NFL Players Association is forming a committee to study the effects of marijuana for managing pain, and the NFL is looking to hire a new chief medical officer to oversee health initiatives, and they want the candidates to be well versed on the science of cannabis. The medical community continues to study the effects of cannabis, specifically how it can impact traumatic brain injury and the brain disease CTE.
Neuroprotective benefits showing significant benefit for these potential traumatic brain injury patients.
Stuart Titus is CEO and president of Medical Marijuana Incorporated. Titus cites research from UCLA and the University of Virginia that suggests cannabinoids can reduce brain inflammation.
These cannabinoids actually act as a second football helmet that's always with you. And been some great research out of UCLA, a medical center at Torrance. They looked at 450 young adults who unfortunately were in traumatic brain injury situations. And of the ones who were in these traumatic brain injury situations, the ones who were regular cannabis users were 80% more likely to survive a traumatic brain injury. And this is presumably because they had this second football helmet effect with them at all times.
Turley sees the impact of cannabis extending beyond the football field and into the military community. Now that California has voted to legalize marijuana, Turley believes his adopted hometown is in a unique position to have an impact on the future of cannabis.
San Diego has every reason to want to advance the science behind cannabis, in that we have over 22 soldiers a day committing suicide, and one of our greatest and most decorated veterans of the National Football League, our own hometown, our son, Junior Seau, that should be here today if he had the opportunity to know what happened to him, first of all, with his brain disease, and given the right medicine to deal with it.
The research is ongoing, but the NFL is at least taking notice, and with all the concussion issues its players are enduring, they are wise to look for any possible solutions. Laz?
Well, thank you, Derek. Always.
So there you go. I mean, that's the thing is, I always look up to these guys, these gladiators, these guys that are just Supermen.
A lot of guys do.
I mean, yeah, right? It's
a lot
like
of women do.
So if those guys, in my mind's eye, these Supermen can find themselves in a place that's as dark as anybody else, like Kyle Turley said, with all the fame, with all the money, everything going right, but then you get into a place that is dark and hard to be in, and he finds his way through with the CBDs. That speaks volumes to someone like me, because I have not been afflicted with a disease, thankfully, but I have had
these diseases,
injuries and things.
Those are afflicted because of injury.
Right,
I mean,
right,
that's the
I
thing,
know.
and you don't think about it. And that's why I was getting on you about the kids, because
right.
we don't. Okay, this is another thing.
Yeah.
When you think of what it regenerates your brain. Okay, that's what I was talking about. My skin. It helps to heal. It
Right.
helps to heal, and I feel that it's helping. You know, with my feet, when you say your feet felt like glass, well, you know what happens with lymphedema is it fills up your skin, and then you know, once you get rid of the fluid, it's gone. You know, if you have this,
right.
if you know anyone who gets edema where they fill up, you know, they get swollen. You know, once the fluid is gone, you know, your skin, if you've ever had a baby, you know, the stretching. If you've ever been overweight and you've lost a lot of weight, you know what happens to your skin, okay?
Right.
This is the same process over and over and over again for someone with lymphedema.
Mm-hmm.
This every day, you're getting rid of fluid and you're gaining it. Well, your skin gets so fragile, okay? And this, I think, this is what's going on right now, Davin. I believe that the hemp oil is mending, like healing all that, you know, bruising that's been going on,
right.
if you will, right? I
Right.
guess you would call it that. And isn't that what Kyle's talking about too?
Yeah, but
What
with your
happens to your
brain,
brain?
all your nervous system
Right.
and everything, yeah. And
See how it all just makes sense?
yeah, it's really incredible. So anyway, if is there anything else you want to share with anybody as far as this whole movement of CBD and CBD hemp oil
Just
goes?
that, you know, that there's a lot of information that we haven't even touched on.
Do your diligence, guys. Look online. Become aware of this stuff. It gets no one high. It's not a psychosomatic thing.
Can I just tell you, he's been working on this all day, he wanted to pick the most...
what I think are the most important points. Some of the most important points. There's too much to share in one show. There really is. There's way too much to share in one show.
Well, we don't have to do just one show. I have a podcast, we haven't even talked about because he doesn't want to talk about my stuff.
No, it's not true at all. What are you talking about?
He's not talking about that. I'm just giving him grief. But, but we have the podcast coming up, and why don't we just do something like on the regular? We can keep up with what I've got, and you can, we could just keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, that works.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
And maybe you learn some more stuff. You said everything's so perfect tonight.
Well, of course.
You thought I was making fun of you.
Yeah, because she always smirks at me and stuff. It makes every time I make a mistake, she's pouncing on me about it.
He is so hard on himself, and so when he finally figures something out, it makes me kind of smirk because he looks like he goes blah 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 blah, and then he goes.
The movie.
You went like this. You went like this. You went blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Because the movie, the 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Has anyone seen that?
Yes, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it.
Where the priest, who's played by the guy who does Mr. Bean.
Yes, of
he's
course.
like saying his first thing. He's trying to get it right and everything. He doesn't make mistakes because I know that people are going through a lot.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and he gets right and he looks over for affirmation like, yes.
That'd be a good movie to watch tonight.
It would be. So that's how I kind of feel, guys, because I've been learning a lot about this in the last few months, and then being able to actually make a testimony about how much it's helped her. I feel like, okay, I just don't want to get it wrong because I don't want to do anyone who's going through a really hard time a disservice by not having the facts right. I've been in broadcasting for over 20 years, so getting the shit right is important to me. And I'm on the internet, so I can say shit now, too, which I love. But that's the thing. It's like I want to make sure that I convey to you guys the importance of how much this impacts people's lives.
This has been up, this has been down.
I know.
It's been a very emotional show for me. I need a bath. And I'm going to do the soap.
And I urge you guys, I want to urge you, please, wherever this may come up as a vote, where we get to actually hopefully vote to legalize everything across the country.
Because the other plants are needed. That's the thing.
That's right. The thing is, the legalization of marijuana medically, I'm speaking medically here, across the country, will open up the avenues to do more in-depth research that they're not allowed to do yet because of this stupid federal thing. Now, the CBD hemp oil, that's hemp, that's different from marijuana, is legal across 50 states. That's not an issue. But the deeper research will become more mainstream, and we will advance so far as a society as that opens up. And that's why it's so important to legalize medicinal
very
marijuana.
Important. I mean, think about the things that we've just touched on.
Right.
And the way you have to get them in order to touch on those things.
Yeah.
And that we have to go to the industrial and do pure and do, refined so we can really heal people.
Right.
Now, imagine if we start really digging into the other plants. What kind of other benefits? Okay, you just started eating hemp hearts. You didn't even know those existed.
I like the hemp hearts. They're tasty, actually. I like them.
And I've been adding it to everything. And he's laughing at me. He's like, "Ew, here comes my hippie wife." He's like, "Play the Stevie Nicks."
Right.
And he's going around like blah 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 blah. And then my daughter has like a Grateful Dead shirt, and it comes in. He's like, "Ooh, like what does that have to do with hemp hearts?"
Right.
They're just pure in protein.
Right. Yeah, they're awesome.
Awesome protein. And if you can't have like animal protein, that's the best protein to have because it's packed.
Right.
Put it in the yogurt. People are like, what? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about, Anna. And you know what? I made muffins the other day. I make his breakfast with it. I can tell you all about it.
So we're going to sign off here in just a minute. By the way,
Stop and Shop.
Anna Fessmeyer says, proud of you guys. Thanks for all the great info. Tracy just came on. She's a little late, but that's okay because this will live on forever on Facebook. And by the way, please share this with anybody you think this might be useful to. I know it's a long broadcast, but there's a lot of good information in here that I want people to be able to know that it's out there and you're not alone, that there's something for you. And
that's the most important part.
And the other thing is we just became involved with this company, Canaway, which is a fantastic company. It's headed by Dr. Stuart Titus, who is the CEO of Medical Marijuana, Inc., which is a publicly traded company. And they do help distribute these hemp oil products all over 50 states in the U.S., and where else?
Yep. And so this in Mexico, we're in Mexico now, and we help this family. Actually, we have an ECHO program. So if you know someone that you want to sponsor, like these ECHO families are the families that Davin was talking about, the epileptic children, and proceeds go to these families. They help, buy products so these families can, keep their children healthy. And, it's just a magnificent trip that I've been on since April. And if you want to know more about it, and if you want to just
Message
take the
us.
products and whatnot, 2 weekends from now, we're going to bring this on our show. I'm going to talk about it more because 2 weekends from now, you can actually catch me at a women's conference that I'm going to be at, and we can talk face to face.
Tell them where the conference is in case people are watching anyway.
It's going to be in Brockton, Massachusetts, and it's going to be on the 24th. And
Okay.
I honestly don't have the address right with me right now.
Right. No, that's okay.
But I can post it up. And,
Right.
But who cares? We're on Facebook.
No, I know. Just
you
message.
Can catch us anywhere.
Right.
You can give us a call or right on there, or call us tomorrow night or whatever.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to leave them with?
No, just you know what?
Are we good?
Learn. Get out there and learn. You have the internet now. You don't have to, even if you don't have the internet, go to the library. Okay, it's all over the place. Go and learn. Don't you think?
Right.
Just learn.
And
Stand up.
if anybody asks you, really, be like,
what I say yesterday.
Yes.
What I say yesterday.
What?
The country needs to what? Stand up. Just stand up. Stop looking at your stupid devices. Stand up, walk up, go. Ask a question, learn, and get healthy. Because it's your body. If you're complaining that you can't do anything, you're the one who got yourself there.
It's your life. It's your friend's life. It's your kid's life. It's your
when
parents'
people-
life.
You know
everything.
what? The doctors gave it to me. I took it. When I realized it was wrong, when I realized it was not what it needed to be, you need to get out. And if you need help, I'm here. But even if I'm not here, if you're in a place where I'm not, find somebody. Oh my God, there's so many people. So many people that are willing to help. And once you start that road to get off of all that stuff and to really learn to love your body.
And heal your body.
Heal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you will feel so different. I feel so different. People that know me will tell you. All right, I don't need to. We can need to call some people. I'm on the show. They'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, she was a giant bitch before she started taking the ham."
Well,
She
you
just-
said it, not
we
me.
just
I
kept saying,
yeah.
"You need."
Yeah.
I thought a Snickers bar, but that didn't work. People be telling me to take Snickers bars,
Right.
but it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy.
Yeah, and now the everything's turned. It's starting to turn around. You can
So
see
if-
the light at the end of the tunnel.
And if you
It's
still
great.
don't believe and you're still going, then take this video and share it to someone who does.
Yeah. All right.
There we
That's going to do it for us tonight. We're going to be back on Monday night or no? We're going to do a show Monday?
Oh, who knows?
Yeah.
My
All right.
schedule's very busy now, you
Right.
know.
Okay.
I'm
We'll be on Monday night. She's giving me a bunch of crap. We'll be on Monday. And you guys, thanks so much for watching. And by all means, feel free to message us to our Davin and Anna wall, whatever you have questions about, and we'd be happy to help you out with whatever you need.
And thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And
thanks so
for
much.
sharing.
Yeah.
Really, thank you.
Well,
David.
you're welcome. Okay. I'm glad I got all the words right.